5 years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Oh, fucking up our opening as usual, but here we are. This is Alex Bennett, and this is the Ramble, and we got a guest to talk to. Once a week, we do a ritual. If I don't do it, I'm going to die. It's a what do you call it? When you believe it. You see, my mind is going, Larry Bubbles Brown.
First sign of dementia.
Oh well, you know, it's kind of like a lucky charm that once a week I speak to Larry Bubbles Brown.
It's a ritual.
You know what I find? What's happening to me lately? This always turns out to be the most depressing time of the week when I talk to Bubs, but I can unload on him because he understands the depression.
Yeah.
I've been taking these pills to take care of my neuropathy, which make me a bit loopy. And part of the thing is you forget shit, all right? Here's the latest thing that's happening to me. I come up, and I can't come up with a simple word to describe something. Like I just had that problem. I use the term lucky charm. I really want to say superstition. That's what I wanted to say. Okay?
Yeah.
But I can't come up with the word superstition. So I come up with a word, in many cases, that is more complicated than the one I'm looking for. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, how come I can come up with that word? You know. But anyway, how come I can remember certain movie stars, but I can't remember others? Do you ever have that happen?
Had a bigger impact on you. I can't. I really have trouble remembering names.
No, but I came up with a name the other night, and I said, how did I come up with that name? You know, I can't remember. Sometimes I'm always saying, hey, she's the girl who was in that thing. You know? And this guy, I just, off the top of my head, that was so-and-so. And I went, how did I come up with that name? You know, most people don't even know the actor I was talking about. And I came up with that name, and it was like from, I don't know, the 30s or something like that.
Well, you've got vast movie knowledge.
You know, Roscoe Yates. I just came up with that name. Do you know Roscoe Yates?
No.
Well, look him up.
Okay.
You know. By the way, do you have that book where you ask me questions about stuff?
It's not. I don't know where it is. Somewhere around here.
Oh, you lost it, huh?
It's around. I was thinking of I was going to ask you this. That I was doodling around the internet and I came across Chuck McCann.
Yeah.
And you said you knew him.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, he turns out he was in when I was young. I saw this movie that profoundly depressed me. The Heart is a Lonely Hunter.
Uh-huh.
And he was in that.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, yeah, you know him. So that's pretty...
What did he play? Did he play a retard or something?
Yeah, something like that. And
oh, wait a minute. We can't say the word retard anymore.
You can't say that.
A mentally challenged
Mentally
person?
challenged.
Or semi-capable memory challenged. You got.
Then I looked up the author of the woman that wrote the movie or the book, Carson McCullers. So she had an interesting life, and like she was married to a man, but she liked women, and this was like in the 1930s. And you just wonder how people got through stuff like that back then.
Well, I always understood women who liked other women because I like women. So I feel we have something in common.
Yes.
You know, I always felt I always liked hanging out with lesbians because we could all talk about the same thing. You know. Yeah, I used to have a thing. I used to have a thing for women who could be mistaken as lesbians. I had this one girlfriend who you knew. I won't say her on the air now. Who really looked dykish.
Yeah, yeah.
But she wasn't. You know, I never knew one moment that she ever had a lesbian trait in her. And yet she had that look, you know. And I like that look, you know, that kind of sporty, short hair, you know.
Love the short hair.
Love the short hair. Love short hair on short women. That would give me a boner every time. And then I wound up going out with this woman, Kathleen, who calls the show now. And Kathleen, I don't know how this happened to me. I just don't know how this happened to me. 6'1", blonde. Against every type I ever found sexy. Okay? And I never could figure it out. Never could figure it out. Everybody would go, Alex, you're going out with this tall blonde. What happened to you? I said, I don't know. I must have gotten shorter. I don't know. You know, but I always liked women who were a little on the shall we say lesbian side or looked like it. I didn't want to go out with lesbians. I wasn't one of those guys who went, well, I can change them. No, I never entertained that thought. But I did entertain the thought that you know, these women that I liked all had kind of like a more what's the word I'm looking for? Mannish quality? I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I want to use that term because then it seems like I'm in the closet and I'm really looking for a guy, and that wasn't the case either. You know, I mean, I tried a guy once and it wasn't much fun. You know,
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah. Although, what was it they did on Seinfeld about? Well, you know, they have the same equipment as you do. And so, therefore, they know what to do.
They understand it better.
They understand it better. Yeah, what it was I was at an orgy, and somebody started blowing me, and it was really good, and I looked down, and it was a guy.
Oh my God!
And I said to myself, well, go along for the ride. You know, you never had this experience before. And I let him keep blowing me for a while, and it was. I have to say, he was giving women a good run for their money because he had the equipment, so he knew what to do with it. And then I said, then I kind of pulled away and stuff because it wasn't this as I've said so many times on the air about it. The stubble got to me.
Yeah.
You know, I could pretend like it was a woman until I felt a beard scratching against my leg. You know,
that's a nightmare.
Yeah. Have you ever had a gay experience?
No.
Okay. Have you ever had a sexual experience?
I am. The limit is with women. That's all. And those have been very few and far between. I've been on quite a drought lately. So.
Well, you know,
you get to an age where it's like women don't reject you. They don't even see you. You're
no, you become I'm invisible. I'm invisible now.
We're invisible.
You know, I can leer at young women, and they don't even notice that I'm leering.
I know.
You know, that's the great advantage. But you've become invisible. You just disappeared into the ether with them.
Yeah, I think if you hit 60, you're in the ether.
Yeah. Although, you know, there are women that go for older guys, but 60 is about the limit for girls who want older guys, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, women who want older guys are usually like women in their 20s who want a guy who's 40, 45, you know.
Yeah, who was it Dennis McQuaid, who's 63? I think he's got maybe married her. She's 25.
Dennis McQuaid?
Yeah.
Who's
Dennis Quaid?
Dennis Quaid. Yeah. I mean, the girlfriend that I had for so many years that you knew was 25 years my junior, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it had nothing to do with her being young. You know, that never meant anything to me. You know, it was that I enjoyed the person. You know. And love them and so on and so forth, and you can't stop that from happening. But Now I've got a woman who's closer to my age. She's 5 years younger, 4 years younger, you know. So I'm now going out with an older woman, technically. But, you know, you say you've been through a drought for what, 10 years, do you say?
No, about three.
3 years. Okay, 3-year drought. At your age, if I had a drought that long, I'd want to shoot myself. Now, I go, well, it's not really a drought. It's called marriage. You know, so...
Did you ever go out with a woman that was significantly older than you?
Significantly older than me? I'm trying to think. No. Have I ever gone out with a woman that was older than me? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't recall you being with an older woman.
No, I don't recall being with her. And it wasn't so much that I had a prejudice against older women. If an older woman came on to me, I would have probably taken her up on it, you know, because I would fuck anything in those days. But no, I would take her up on it, and so that was fine with me. But age that way I had no problem with it. It's just I was never given the opportunity of an older woman coming on to me. I guess I wasn't just older woman bait, as it were.
No cougars in your life.
No cougars in my life. Yeah. No, I wish I had. Actually, it would have been nice to have a cougar. Actually, especially when I was younger, because I could have learned a lot. You know. I'm just trying to think. Was there ever an older woman? And I can't think that there was. You know, I mean, an older woman. My wife is an older woman. I don't know, not older than me though. But anyway, so they you know, I got this thing the other day from one of our listeners on the show. Okay. And I'll probably talk about this tonight on the show when we go into it, because he'll probably call. But he was taking a drug called Klonopin. Have you ever heard of Klonopin?
I've heard of it, but I'm not sure what it does.
And he said that he was trying to get off of it, and they've had to wean him off of it, and it's going to take a couple of years to wean him off of it. That's how bad the drug is.
2 years?
Something like that. And I said, what happens when you withdraw? And he says, I haven't got time to tell you. So he sent me a list of all the things that could happen to him during withdrawal. And it starts out with akathisia. What the fuck is akathisia? Agitation and anxiety, blurred vision, chest pains, depersonalization, depression, dilated pupils, dizziness, dry mouth, dysphoria, elevation of blood pressure, fatigue and weakness, gastrointestinal disturbance. I guess that would be farting too. Hearing disturbance, headache, hot and cold spells, hypersomnia, hypertension, hypogagic hallucinations, hypochondrias. I guess you become a hypochondriac out of it. Increased sensitivity to touch, increased urinary frequency, insomnia, impaired memory and concentration, loss of appetite. This is all from withdrawal on this drug. Loss of appetite and weight loss, mid to moderate aphasia, mood swings, muscular spasms and cramps, nightmares, obsessive compulsive disorder, paresthesia, paranoia, perspiration, photophobia, postural hypotension, REM sleep rebound, restless leg syndrome, stiffness, taste and smell disturbances, tachycardia, tendinitis, tremor, and visual disturbances.
And this was approved by the FDA.
Hold on a second. Rapid discontinuation may result in more serious syndrome, catatonia, confusion, convulsions, coma, delirium tremens, hypothermia, mania, neuroleptic malignant syndrome-like event. That's rare, by the way. They say there's a little thing saying rare. Organic brain syndrome, post-traumatic stress disorder, psychosis, suicidal ideation or suicide, and violence and aggression.
Wow.
Now, those are all the side effects of trying to quit Klonopin. And I wrote him back a simple reply. It said, gee, the same symptoms as marriage.
That's great.
Yeah.
Marriage should come with a warning label like medicine.
Yes.
may
may induce vomiting.
Thoughts of suicide.
Thoughts of suicide, certainly you give up on everything.
Well, that's the most side effects I've ever heard of on anything.
What? Oh, that?
The Klonopin, yeah. Jesus.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's amazing. Now, granted, in the list of contradictions, they list almost everything that could possibly happen to you. I mean, even if it's so rare that it's ridiculous, but they don't want to get sued. So they throw in everything but the kitchen sink when they list but that's from withdrawal. That's not from the taking the pill itself.
Yeah, I wish I remembered what it was for.
Well, for instance, if I go online right now and I put in pregabalin, okay, which is the pill that I'm taking for my restless leg syndrome, pregabalin, and then I go pregabalin side effects, okay. Let's see here. What are the side effects of taking pregabalin? Well, let me see here. Here are the side effects. Dizziness, drowsiness, I have that. Unsteadiness, I have that. Memory loss, I think I have that.
Yeah.
Lack of coordination, I have that. Difficulty speaking, not really. Do I seem like I have a difficulty in speaking to you?
No.
Okay. Viral infections, no. Tremors, double vision, a little bit. Fever, unusual eye movements, and jerky movements. Now, those were all those. It's not as bad as Klonopin, I'll tell you that. But still, with those side effects, you have to, and I do feel some of them. You have to say, "Wow," I mean, it's, Now you see there, I forgot. No, with those side effects, why would you give that pill to anybody? And then I say to myself, they give old people any pill that they can give them. They don't care what the side effects. Go ahead. Here's heroin. Go take it, you old man. It'll make you feel better, right? Yeah, don't worry about it killing you. Your life expectancy isn't that long anyway. That's how they look at it. I mean, with the prostate cancer thing, they say, well, you really shouldn't give PSA tests to guys after 70 years of age because if they live an average lifespan, they'll die of something else. Oh, well, that's a really happy answer to give me. I'm going to die of something. Don't worry about the prostate cancer. You're going to die of something else.
Our total lack of respect for old people in this country is unbelievable.
Well, they don't understand that there's a chance. Okay, let's say it's a slow-growing cancer, the prostate cancer, and it will never come to anything before I die of something else. But let's say I don't die of something else. Well, isn't the prostate cancer then going to keep getting worse and worse and worse?
Yeah.
I don't know what to think about any of this, but it's very depressing. It's very depressing. So,
well, I want to find out what Klonopin's for.
Klonopin? Yeah. Klonopin. Well, here, let me look it up here. I guess it's spelled Klonopin. Let's see if that's Klonopin. Oh, it's with a K. It's with a K.
Ah.
Okay. I don't trust any drug. And it's got another name. It's clonazepam. Okay. It's for. It's for perforation, but it doesn't say what it's for. Indications. It's useful alone or adjunct treatment of Lennox-Gastaut syndrome, akinetic, and myelocolonic seizures Impatience, absent. I don't know. It doesn't say really anything that I understand. Oh, it's indicated for the treatment, here we go, of panic disorder.
Panic. Okay.
With or without agoraphobia. Okay, so that's I guess that's what it's for. It's for panic disorder. But
So
but the side effects.
So the side effects are worse than what it's treating.
Well, those weren't side effects. That was the effects of withdrawal. Okay. The side effects are dizziness, confusion, increased saliva, muscle aches, frequent urination, blurred vision, loss of interest in sex, fatigue.
Well, maybe that's how they keep you from ever getting off the pill.
Well, I guess. Oh man. Are you taking any medicine at all? Do you have any? Is your doctor prescribed anything to you?
No, I'm supposed to be on a. They highly suggest I take a cholesterol drug, but I refuse.
Why?
I don't like taking pills.
Well, they say the cholesterol pill is a historic
a statin, yes,
a statin, but it is one of the best things ever invented.
Because that's what Carvey keeps telling me.
Huh? Yeah.
Dana Carvey keeps telling me that.
Yeah, and it is because we generally, as we age, we have a tendency to have high cholesterol, no matter what we eat. Okay, people, and you work out and so on, so you probably got good cholesterol, really good LDL, but the bad cholesterol, you're going to have a hard time keeping that away. And there's this pill that lowers it. Period.
I've tried it. It definitely cuts it in half for me.
Yeah, well, there was a doctor that said to me once, he said, if I had another kid today, I would start him at 15 on a statin. He said it's just a wonder drug. It will just keep the cholesterol away. So that's the only drug. But I got one pill that I took, and it was a cholesterol pill. And then I needed another pill for the thyroid, and I need another pill for this, another pill for that. I'm now taking 7 pills a day.
And that's I think under the average.
Is that under the average?
People over 65, I think, in this country take at least 12 pills a day.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, I could cut out a couple of them, without much pain, okay, or change in my medical profile. But see what we're talking about again, folks? This is once again, it's Larry and Alex getting depressed, talking about pills.
And the disturbing thing, 80% of our pharmaceuticals are made in China now, so that gives you a real...
I think the biggest bomb that hit me was our close friend, a comedian. I've mentioned his name on this show because he's on the show regularly, and I wanted to explain his non-appearance. Well, it's Will Durst, okay. Had a stroke. And that really got to me because I talk to this guy every 3 weeks. I see him on Skype. And I've come to really love the guy, and to see that happen to him, and that kind of thing. I don't know if I would want that because you're still alive, but you're debilitated. Yeah,
you can overcome it with rehab.
I have a friend named Jeff. He calls the show every night, and he had a stroke many years ago, about 20 years ago, and to this day he can't read.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He can't read, and he still has trouble talking a little bit, but he had to really work at it. There was a lot of therapy there. So if you're a comedian and timing's important to you, losing your speech, for instance, can be a real problem.
That would be a bad one, yeah.
And supposedly he has some speech problems. Now they may be able to overcome them, but he also has his left side is numb or whatever, gone or not working. So with all these things, I know people say, don't worry, he can go to a chiropractor, he can fix that. Yeah. I'm going to a chiropractor now for the numbness in the feet.
Yeah, you mentioned that last time.
And it's marginally helping, so I'm going to go back one more time and see if it gets even better. Either that or it could be the pills I'm taking, so I don't know which it is. Hey, listen, we've run out of time. I just looked at the clock, and it's time for me to tell you to shut up.
We should. Well, we're literally running out of time. So.
Yeah. Hey, listen, talk to you next week.
Will do.
Ladies and gentlemen, Larry Bubbles Brown.
Thanks, Alex.
5 years and still talking. This is GABNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
And that's Larry Bubbles Brown. Oh, boy, I get off to a shitty start tonight. God, my mind is, I can't do this anymore. I think it's time for me to pack it all in. Yeah? Okay. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Okay? How are you this evening? Let me turn on the Skype lines here. Oh boy, if we don't get a lot of calls tonight, I think I'm going to just pack it in early because I'm just out of it. Plus tomorrow, my doctor's supposed to call me with the results of my PSA test, so I'm all you know me. I'm all upset about that when I really shouldn't be. It'll be what it will be. Okay. Anyway, so the lines are now open, and let's see if anybody wants to call the program. Well, already. Oh, hey, Vernon Dunn is calling, ladies and gentlemen. Vernon, let me see here. I got to find you a spot on the thing here. We'll make you the first guy up, and so you get the top slot, and there we go. And there we go. Hello, Vernon. How you doing?
I'm great.
Yeah. Where are you? You're still on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
You're where again? In the
Virginia mountains.
Virginia Mountains, the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia.
Shenandoah.
Shenandoah. Okay. I don't know any of that. All I know is that there was a song called Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia. On the Trail of the Lonesome Pine, so I was simply quoting that. And how's the vacation going? Nice?
It's almost over.
How long?
Head back on Saturday.
How long did you spend there?
2 weeks.
Huh?
2 weeks.
2 weeks? Okay. Cool. That's great. I need a vacation. I need it desperately. So if I get a decent thing tomorrow with my PSA test, I'm gonna go somewhere. I gotta get out of here. I'm just I'm fried, totally fried.
Probably a good idea.
Just by the whole experience, doctors, most doctors don't terrorize me, but urologists have in the past. This guy's okay, but urologists have really terrorized me over the years. And it's not because I don't like them playing with my pee-pee, but they just all seem to have a different way of, I'll tell you, I asked my doctor, my internist. I said I got to find myself a decent urologist. He said, "Good luck." His attitude was urology wasn't a very well-respected craft.
Our general practitioner that my wife and I see.
Yeah.
Going on 30 years.
Yeah.
Same guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We love him.
Yeah, well, I've got a guy who, how can I put it? He's a great traffic cop. In other words, something's wrong, I know the doctor for that, and then he sends you to the right guy. But a couple of times he sent me to the wrong guy. Like the last urologist he sent me to was really bad. Then he sent me to this one who's really good. Okay. But, Shecky goes to a doctor called Lou Aroni, who was David Letterman's doctor. And Aroni is one of the great traffic cops. He will send you to the best possible doctor for whatever condition you have. Okay. But it's not that he can cure it. That's not what he does, but he's a traffic cop. And that's what great, internists are. So, And
One thing I've heard about our medical practices in this country, the medical schools train our doctors to treat symptoms. They don't train them to fix your problem.
Oh, really?
That's what I've heard.
Well, I happen to, I don't know. My doctor, my internist, is also a cardiologist. So that's a good thing because when I go to get my yearly checkup, he also plays cardiologist and checks my heart and makes sure it's okay and everything like that, But so my heart's in great shape. So I've got a stenosis, a mild stenosis, but that at my age, that's,
Yeah, it's probably normal.
Oh, it is normal. He said, don't even worry about it. He said to me, at the rate the stenosis is growing, because he checks it about every 2 years, he said, if you live to be another 50 years, it may cause a problem. So, that was his thing. Oh, look who's here this evening. Oh, this is nice. What a pleasant surprise, ladies and gentlemen. The addition to our citizen panel of, wait a minute, I've got to get out of this here so that I can, there's his picture now. See, if I go ahead of time before the picture comes up, it doesn't show up on my list. Here comes, wait a minute. I need my glasses on. Why am I so vain? Tommy Yamaguchi, there we go. Okay, all right.
Hi.
And boom, there he is. There's Tom. Hi, Tom.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good.
So Vernon's on vacation.
Nice.
Yeah, and he is. I've got to take a vacation. It's been so long since I've taken a vacation, and I just got to say to you guys, get along with me without me for a couple of weeks. I am such a mess today. I don't know why. I'm worried about this test tomorrow, and I don't know, this pill that I take for the neuropathy is just, it's causing me to stumble into walls. Yes, Tom.
Oh, by the way, I don't know if Larry Brown's still listening.
No,
but I'm also on a statin drug, and I would say yes, definitely take it.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. People have had heart problems over the years, but when statins came along, it was like the miracle drug. It was the penicillin of the heart. I had doctors who told me that it is so good that if they had a kid today, they would put him on statins at 15.
Right.
That is just good practice. Now, they do have their downside, but the upside is so positive that you can't do anything
I
about
haven't
it.
experienced any downside. My cholesterol was sort of borderline for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I sort of resisted, and then I just realized that it's silly to resist. I have a fairly good diet. It's mostly I don't eat much meat.
Mm-hmm.
Try to cut down on fat. Keep down on fat as much as possible. But it was still, as you said, when people get older, that bad cholesterol will come up, and so now it's great.
Well, I had lard flowing through my veins, and you could actually butter toast with my blood. Okay, and my cholesterol was high, and so he gave me a statin. Boop, went right down. Then all of a sudden, I went to get my yearly one time. And he took my blood and he wrote me and he said, "Your cholesterol is crazy. It just went sky high." And he said, "I don't know how it's doing that. We've got you on a statin." And then I suddenly realized that month I had forgotten to, when I made out my little pill box full of stuff, to throw in the statin. So for 1 month I didn't take the statin, and boom, right up, you know. So I mean, these are miracle drugs, you know. But it's interesting that we can take care of things like that, and we do a great job of it. And then other stuff we just don't seem to even do anything about or have an ability at it. I mean, this whole thing, I mean, Vernon went through it with prostate cancer, with the whole PSA test and all of that. That is such an inexact voodoo science, you know, that I suppose with somebody like Vernon, who was how old when you had your prostate problem?
62.
Yeah. If you get around 62, that can cause a real problem. And so if you're suddenly your PSA goes up, how high was it? Do you remember?
9.2.
9.2. That's still kind of within a. Well, then they did probably a biopsy and found that you had it, right? And did they find a tumor there too, or whatever?
No, 1 out of 12 cancerous.
Oh, really? Really?
Yep.
Oh, well, so you maybe did not have an aggressive form, you know?
Probably not.
Yeah. So but when you're 62, they're very careful about it, you know? When you're my age, they go, you know, we're going to wait and watch, you know, and see what the story is. It's what's called watchful waiting. So I, you know, what the hell? Go with the watchful waiting. I'll buy that one. But anyway, hello to Mr. Zeller. How are you, Jeff? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, yeah. We're talking medicine again. You know.
I heard a little bit of that.
Yeah, yeah. But when you're when you get a raise in your PSA, and if you know they find anything at that age, they're very careful about it. At my age, they go, "You're probably going to die of something else," which is really wonderful news to know. You know, you're probably going to die of something else before the cancer will get you. And I'm going, that makes me really feel good. You know, gosh, I won't die of cancer.
Good medicine, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yes, Tom.
Yeah, I was just going to ask Jeff if he heard the conversation about him with Larry Bubbles Brown.
Yes, the last 10 minutes of it or so.
Yeah.
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 Regarding your stroke.
Yeah, we were talking about your stroke.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We had a discussion about it.
By the way, I'm trying to figure this out. I'm trying to figure this out. You know, like comedians, something happens to them, you joke with them about it, right? You know, because we know that's the chicken soup for the soul is comedy. You know, so I saw something the other day, and I'm wondering if I should send it to Will. And it's a book called, are you ready for this? Stroke for Dummies.
Why not?
I mean, would you have minded it when you had your stroke, if I had sent you a copy of Stroke for Dummies?
Somebody would have to read it to me. But
yeah. But it's I looked at a little bit of it because they let you see it on Amazon, and it really looks pretty helpful actually. It tells you what to expect and don't get depressed and dip-a-dum and you can overcome this, and it's a pep talk is what it is.
I don't know if I had it or I saw it or somebody gave it to me or let me borrow it for a while. I remember seeing it.
Oh, what? A Stroke for Dummies?
Stroke for Dummies.
Yeah. I think there's a For Dummies book for everything.
That's,
Now, I'd like to know, what was the first For Dummies book?
Oh, they were all computer.
It must have been
Windows.
computer. It must have been a computer related.
All about Windows because Microsoft never released any readable manuals.
Yeah, no, not at all. And here was the thing that Apple said: we don't need a manual.
Right.
You remember that? Or if they
Sure.
gave you something, it was like a pamphlet. Okay.
they're still doing that.
Yeah,
Well,
and
many
I got news for them. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm good at computers, okay? So I can kind of work my way around it. But if you get somebody like Aunt Maud and you throw her a computer at her, you throw an Apple at her, I'm sorry. Aunt Maud's going to have a problem with it, no matter what. She's going to have a problem with an iPhone.
Well,
You have to have a grandson sure how to use it, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. What were you going to say, Jeff?
I lost my cell phone the other day. I not lost it. It crashed.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought a new one. Well, guess what? Everything is quite different.
Oh, really? Is it another iPhone?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's the new one.
Well, it's the XS.
It's XS, okay.
Right. And as compared to I had a 6.
The XS is, I think, their cheapest one, which has less of everything, but you would think that they would have the XS have more of everything because it's the XS, you know? Okay. I just
It seems to have everything except for maybe all of these new camera stuff.
Yeah, I buy it for the camera stuff. When I'm buying an iPhone now, I'm buying a camera. I'm not buying a phone. The phone is just something it does, as a matter of fact. In fact, when they're pushing it on those things that they do, those tech meetings and whatever, and they show the new Apple iPhone, what did they talk about for 20 minutes? The camera. They didn't even talk about how good the music plays on it, or how, if you're in a thunderstorm, it picks up good phone service. None of that. It had nothing to do with it being a phone. It had to do with it being a camera. So,
Well, it's a challenge to figure out how to use it again.
Really?
Oh,
Why?
yeah.
Why? It's the same as the old one.
No, it's quite different.
In what way?
Everything that you puts on now, you have to take your thumb or your finger and put this one and put it in this direction and this one in another direction to change something. So you're using your fingers.
Yeah,
to kind of make decisions.
Well, it is slightly different. I don't know which ones you have. You have like the 5 or something like that.
I had a
6. 6, yeah. Well, I mean, what they did with this phone is they just simply, everything is there's no button any longer.
Right.
You remember how you used to have buttons?
Yeah.
Who is this? This is. Let me see here. Who is this? Yeah. Hi.
Eddie.
Hi, Eddie. How are you? Let me
Good.
let me just find a little spot for you here in our thing here. Let me see here. Jordan. There we go. Okay. All right. And let me then do this, and then let me do that, and there we go. Hi, Ed. How are you?
Great. Long time no see.
Yeah, it's been a while. But glad you called tonight. Nice to have you here. But what I was saying about the phone is that it doesn't have it where the old one had a button. You don't have that anymore. So you have to just learn to turn the thing on to begin with. Do you have face recognition on yours? No. On the XS, does it have a face recognition? Like when you turn it on, does it just you look at it and it lets you in?
Mine does.
All you got to do is kind of do it, and it goes on.
Do you have to look at
And
it?
then at this point, you slide it and put the code
Let me
number
see.
in.
Hold the phone up to the camera here a
Yeah.
second. Let me see it a second. Wait a minute. Hold on. There we go. No, I don't. Does that? I'm trying to figure out if that has. If that has. If that has. No, I don't think it does. I don't think it has face recognition. Yeah, because the face recognition helps a lot. You know.
I think that's something you can turn on or off.
What's that?
Yeah.
Face recognition.
Oh,
you can turn it on or turn it off.
You can turn the face recognition off on these? And what does it replace it with?
Passcode.
Well, like Jeff has a passcode.
Oh, a passcode. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. No, I just like looking at it and having it say, I recognize you. And you know something? Here's how stupid I am, okay? I'm going, you know, this thing even works in the dark. It recognizes my face in the dark. And then I suddenly realized it's got a light on my face, okay? So it can see my face in the dark, of course, you know.
Yeah.
So.
It'll mute your alarm in the morning too, and your alarm goes off and you look at it.
Yeah.
It turns it down.
Well, if your phone is ringing, this happened when I first got it, and I went, "What's wrong with my goddamn phone?" But when you look at it, it mutes the ring quite a bit, almost down to nothing. So you know, I kind of like this phone. I think it's the X's are a good model. You know.
Yeah. I think it does have recognition.
Of
And
course.
I just have to.
Yeah, of course. My friend Bubbles still has a flip phone. You know, I'm surprised it even works. You know, but what the hell? You know, I mean, he doesn't have any need for this. I offered him one of my phones, one of my old ones. When I got rid of my old, you know, when I got my new one, I had another one sitting around here, and I said, "Okay, you can have it. All I want you to do is go out and find out about getting service, okay?" And he never did that, you know. So I wasn't about ready to send him the phone and having it sit around on his, you know, coffee table doing nothing, you know. But anyway, but I could have done Skype calls with him that way, though. And I suppose if I were wealthy, I would send him the phone and then pay his phone bill for him, you know. But anyway, so Eddie, how's everything's going with you? Let's see here. You have a whole bunch of you in your garage?
Oh no, I'm in a machine shop.
A machine shop
At work.
Uh-huh.
Break time, so I just wanted to check in.
Yeah, and you do what exactly? I forgot again. You know, because I'm getting old and I forget stuff.
Well, I'm a millwright, so I work on machinery.
Uh-huh.
And I'm in an oil refinery right now.
Wow. So do you always work in the same place, or do you go to different places?
Different places, but I've been here since April.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. It's
But
yeah.
I go all over.
I've known a lot of people do a lot of things. I've never met anybody that does what you do.
Yeah. I got a bumper sticker that says, "What the hell is a millwright?" So it's pretty common. Nobody knows what we do.
Yeah. And you're
I'm looking at all the machines, and I'm very familiar with them all.
really.
Yeah.
Okay, wait a minute. Show them all those machines there. Okay. All right. Okay, tell us. Show us.
Well, right there, he just went by a lathe. There's a nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another lathe.
Yeah.
And there must have a milling machine here somewhere.
Yeah.
Down there's a big mill. But I usually don't work. I don't do any machinist work, but I just put the compressors together and service them. This is what I'm on nights. I'm cleaning up all day shift. Will take all the parts, take everything apart, and then I clean them up and inspect them.
Oh wow! So
and these are the pistons on the, like a car's piston.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff.
Hold on a second. Let me show people there, so they can
A little
see
bit
it.
bigger.
Yeah, I've got you a full screen now so people can see this stuff. So, wow. So how do you know about this, Jeff?
Well, for a number of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was a machinist,
Mm-hmm.
and also he ran a couple of the factories at one time or another.
Mm-hmm.
In high school, I went to a school in New York, which was an engineering school, and that was part of the course.
Wow.
How to use all the machines,
Yeah.
and also fix them.
Yeah. And so you see, I mean, Eddie. So Eddie, are you impressed by Jeff's knowledge of this stuff that he could identify the machines?
Yeah, he did good.
Yeah.
I did all right. Well, that's
It's amazing.
anyway.
It's amazing the wealth of knowledge that our audience has.
Yeah.
You know. But anyway, let me go back to let me see all the people here. So anyway, let's see here. What's happening in the news? Anything? Or is it the same old fucking goddamn shit?
Kentucky, Virginia.
that's right.
Well, we had that one last night. You know, we knew that last night. Yeah, but do we? Should we be happy about this? Is it any
No.
sign of anything? What are you going to say, Tom?
What I find strange, about the Kentucky election
Really?
is that 12,000 more people out of 1.4 million total votes, 12,000 more people voted for Attorney General than voted for governor.
Oh God! Go
It
figure.
happened last election too.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you opt out of that? I guess you can, huh? I mean, you can just not vote for that part of the slate in that state.
Yeah. You can just opt out, not voting for governor. Period.
Do they have a opt out part on the ticket where you just don't vote for anybody?
In Kentucky, they have each office listed and who's on the ballot for that office.
Yeah.
So if you don't check anybody for governor, then you don't vote for governor.
Oh,
But you
okay.
can still vote for everybody else down
Yeah.
the ticket.
Tom?
Yeah, I was going to say that there was a libertarian running too, so that person got 2% of the vote. But it's interesting. One other thing happened in your city, New York. You voted for ranked choice voting.
Then what?
Hey, I got to go.
Oh,
Ranked
you
choice
got to go?
Uh,
Okay. Goodbye, Eddie.
I'll talk to you later.
Thanks for calling. We appreciate it. Okay.
All right.
All
Bye.
right. Bye-bye. Okay, and there goes Eddie. So we need somebody to replace his spot there. So somebody give us a call. What were you going to say?
I wanted to talk more with Eddie.
Yeah. Anyway, go on, Tom, with what you were saying.
Yeah, except your city, New York, just joined Berkeley, Oakland, Fremont, San Francisco, and the state of Maine, and a bunch of other places that now have ranked choice voting.
What choice voting?
Choice voting.
Say that first word again. Somebody sneezed.
Rank, R-A-N-K.
Oh, ranked choice voting. So
I take it you didn't vote yesterday.
No, I didn't. What, we get to vote for number 1, 2, and 3 or something?
It's actually, you get 5 choices.
Really?
Yeah.
That's too much. That's too much fucking work. I just want to go in and vote for one person.
And you can. You can go in and vote for one person, or you can vote for no people, like they did in Kentucky with the governor.
Yeah, well, we had here in New York for the first time, in New York City, was early voting. But it was not like early voting in a lot of other states where it's like a month beforehand or whatever. It was like a week beforehand, and you could go in and vote, on any one of those days. And so,
Well, my wife read something that Kentucky did not have early voting, but that's BS because she and I both voted early before we came on vacation.
oh really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're in Kentucky, are you, Vernon?
That's where I live.
That's
I'm
where
in
you live.
Virginia,
Yeah,
vacation.
Yeah. So how do you feel about Kentucky? What is all that noise we're getting? How do you look at Kentucky, at the situation in Kentucky that happened yesterday, and do you think it's a precursor to the way Kentucky might vote in the general election?
No, but what I think it's showing is that the suburban voters are getting sick and tired of Trump because there are 3 counties up near Cincinnati. They're considered suburban counties of Cincinnati, Ohio, but they're across the river in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Boone, Kenton, and Campbell counties. And all 3 of those counties went for Donald Trump in 2016 by like 30 points. But in this gubernatorial election, Kenton and Campbell counties turned blue.
Wow. That's
and Boone County was red, but it was by a very small margin.
Wow. Yes, Tom.
Let me give you another example in a different state, Pennsylvania. And I sort of am familiar with this because my daughter lived with my adoptive mother in this area, suburban Philadelphia, called Delaware County. Mm-hmm. And the Democrats just took over last night, which was really surprising because this is such a Republican county. It hasn't gone Democrat since the 19th century. And so it's another example of, as Vernon was saying, suburban voters are getting really tired of Trump. And in Pennsylvania, they're getting tired of Republicans in general. So
yeah.
One poll that I saw had Matt Bevin, the current governor, ahead by 5 points. On Monday, Donald Trump came to a rally in Lexington, Kentucky for Matt Bevin, and he lost.
Yeah, yeah. Was that the one in which he said the trouble is
you're voting for me? Don't vote against me.
Yes, he made it personal.
Well, no, but he makes all that stuff personal. He doesn't go in and talk about Bevin and all that, how good Bevin's been for the state or whatever. It's all about, hey, don't vote for Bevin. Don't make me look bad.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And he said something to that effect, actually. That it's going to make me look like I'm going to be a loser, and they all want me to look like a loser. So you better go out and don't make me look bad. Yes, Jeff.
I heard this morning MSNBC, the radio show, on TV.
Yeah.
And what's the guy's name? Joe, who does that show?
Joe Scarborough.
Scarborough.
Yeah.
And Scarborough gets on the phone and he says, I think Trump always listens at this time of the morning. So he's probably listening to me right now. And I want to tell you that until it was about 2 weeks ago, the Democrats were behind. And when you came out to Virginia, I think it was, and Trump came out there and made a presentation, his numbers went just the opposite that they were supposed to go. And he goes, you are screwing it up.
Do you think there are going to be people now who are going to say, don't show up to help me? It seems like he could be a detriment, which is fine. That's terrific. That'd be wonderful. If he's a detriment, so be it.
Something else interesting: Matt Bevin has not conceded the race.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, why
and
is
he's going to want? He's going to want a recount, supposedly.
Well, supposedly it's not that. There's like about a 5,000 vote difference, and that's not the kind of difference that you can overcome in a recount.
As a matter of fact, when he ran for governor, there was a primary race before he ran in the general when he won the governorship the first time. and there was somebody challenging him in the primary, and Bevin won by 87 votes.
Oh,
And they
jeez.
asked for a recanvass. Okay, a recanvass is not the same as a recount, but they did a recanvass, and the totals came out exactly the same.
What's a recanvass?
Recanvass is where the Secretary of State requests all the numbers from the county clerks in the state.
Okay.
And they look at the numbers and make sure that the numbers that got reported to the Secretary of State
Yeah.
do in fact jive with what they send in the second time. And if they do, then they say, yeah, they certify the election. But within 10 days after the election, the losing party can request a recount, but whoever requests a recount has to pay for it.
Oh, okay.
And in that case, the paper ballots are all sent to a judge, and the judge has people who actually go through all the paper ballots and make sure that that was done correctly.
That's got to be a pretty.
It takes time.
It's an expensive
Takes time.
proposition too, right?
Yeah,
Right.
right. And the person who requests a recount has to pay for it.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Good. I'm happy to hear that. Oh, boy. Hey, listen, folks, we could use a few more callers here. God, it's been slow this week. I don't know. Has this whole thing finally started boring you folks? You know? I mean, all of a sudden, you know, it's been, last night was slow and tonight's slow. I think last night we got up to 6 people. I think we did at some point. But I'm really tired, so if we don't get a few more people here before, say, 11:30, I'm going to make it a shorter than usual show. Not because I don't like you guys, it's just that I don't have the strength to keep going. Tom, how are you seeing this whole election coming up?
Okay.
Do you think...
I think I tried to say this the other night when my microphone kicked out.
Yeah.
But I feel good about the election. I really do. I think that one thing, we haven't even gotten to the primaries, and so that's going to tell a lot right then of who's really got the best shot. Right now we're all going on polling, which changes, but we start getting in the primaries, then we will finally figure out who's our strongest candidates are.
Do you know number two in
paranoia? I think a lot of this paranoia about too many candidates. I think we've seen that before. I'm just thinking more and more about the situation in 2008 and all the fact. The candidates are going to kill each other, and we're not going to have a
But do we in reality have too many candidates? I mean, we have a handful of candidates who people are paying attention to, and the rest all seem to be stragglers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're going to see Cory Booker getting out of the race soon. Mainly, it's a money thing with him.
Well, it's a money thing with all of them. I mean, if they can't raise the money.
But
they're going to be out.
You know who's number two right now in the polling in Iowa?
What's that again?
You know who's number two in the polling in Iowa now?
Sanders?
Buttigieg.
Oh, he is? Okay.
Yeah. I think, slow and steady wins the race. And he's doing okay, I still say that, if you're going to throw somebody up against Trump, I think he could eat Elizabeth Warren alive, just because of his blowhardness, okay, and the fact that she's got way too much dignity,
about that.
Well, it's a different set of rules now on how you win an election, and a lot of it has to do with a lot of it has to do now with being boisterous or having something going for you that Trump can't fight. And I think Buttigieg has a lot of Teflon going for I mean, what is Trump going to put down about Buttigieg? That he's gay? That would be in terrible taste, wouldn't it? I mean, it's very hard to parse that one. Okay? And everything else, what are you going to put him down for? Oh, he was in the military? What a sissy. 3 times? Oh, what a sissy. You know, come on. Oh, he's a Rhodes Scholar. He's went to Harvard. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, the guy has all the goods. And it's pretty hard for Trump to go against that. And then you add to that the fact that, in fact, he's young, you know, and put him up against the big fat slob whose tie is way too long. And what do you got? You know?
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
See.
Yes, Jeff.
Teddy Roosevelt was the youngest president, as I remember.
Was he really?
Mm-hmm.
He always looked kind of old, didn't he?
I know, but you know,
But everybody looked
I
older
think he
back
was
then.
42 or something.
Really?
I'm not sure.
Or 40.
Well,
40.
He got in because he was vice president and McKinley was assassinated. So he
I had nothing to do with it.
Buttigieg.
I wasn't blaming you.
Buttigieg has done
I'm
pretty.
just saying that he came in not through election but through through assassination.
Buttigieg did pretty well on fundraising.
Yes.
He's done very well on fundraising, and he's really run a very smart, slow but steady campaign. And I just think that, I think he's kind of Teflon to Donald. Donald's going to find a hard thing to grab onto. What's he going to do? Say, you're going to vote for that fairy? I don't think so. I don't. Even at his worst, Trump can't come up with that one. He knows that's would not be the right thing to do. What can he assail Buttigieg for? He doesn't have experience? Well, you didn't either, Donald. And at least he runs a city. You never ran anything except a losing corporation.
Mm-hmm.
And also the other thing, and I think this is a Achilles heel that I think that the Democrats really haven't hit harder upon. You don't say, I don't want people to see my tax returns, unless there's something in that tax returns you don't want the people to see. I mean, the biggest fight that he fights every day is keeping his taxes from being revealed. Mm-hmm. He goes to court on it. He spends money in courts on it. He takes it to the Supreme Court. He does...
well, he's taking it to the Supreme Court. They haven't heard it yet.
Yeah, but why in the world, if you don't have something to hide, do you not want people to see your tax return? When that's the one thing...
I think eventually it'll come out. I think eventually
eventually it's going to come out.
Heel.
Yeah. But, I mean, what is there in his tax records, in his taxes, that somehow smells, okay, and that he doesn't want anybody to see? And I thought it was somewhat telling when Mario Cuomo came out and said when Trump announced he was changing his place of domicile to Florida, although I thought he lived in Washington, but I may be mistaken. Cuomo said, well, you don't pay any taxes here anyway, so good riddance. Well, that's kind of telling that there's something they see there that, that there is something very, very important. And if he thinks by moving to Florida he's getting away from a tax rap that they're going after now, he's getting bad advice, because it's just not true, Did somebody have his hand up?
No, I was just scratching my head.
The guy may not have enough money to show that he's a billionaire. I think he's not a billionaire.
Well,
that is a big loser for Trump.
Yeah. What you're gonna say, Tom?
Yeah,
Tom?
that's actually Willie Brown. That he said, I never wanted to show my taxes anywhere either because I didn't want people to know how poor I am.
That's right.
And that's exactly. I think that a lot of it is does not have the amount of money he says he's got.
Well, Trump's entire business in later years wasn't real estate. It was putting his name on buildings he didn't own and leasing out his name. And that was based upon the Mr. Monopoly image that he had. You know, because you put him on The Apprentice, and there he is. He's the big businessman telling you, you're fired, and, you know, whatever. And he's supposed to be a multi-billionaire, and he knows how to make money. And so, well, if it turns out that he doesn't really know how to make money, and that, in fact, he owes a lot of it, and, you know, I think that the public would take that in not well. Yeah. Okay. Yes, Tom.
Yeah, actually, last year I read this book called Trump Nation by Timothy O'Brien, and it covers that time period. I think it was published in about 2006, but talking about how he was able to use that boost he got from The Apprentice to start licensing his name, and that basically became his business. His shtick is that licensing.
Well, this guy was making so much money off his properties and so on. Why was he selling steaks and ties? You know, why was he starting Trump University? I mean, that's not what you do when you've got a lot of businesses going that you have to spend time on. You know, he wasn't wheeling and dealing any big deals in the last couple of years. The biggest deal he had was that TV show. You know, and that made him a lot of money because he was able to turn out books and ties and steaks and, you know, that bogus Trump University and all that other crap, you know. Then when he lost that, which he lost because he couldn't do it and run for president of the United States at the same time, because it's funny, if he were to have run for president and still been on The Apprentice, they would have had to give every other candidate a show of their own on NBC at the time, because that's kind of the rules, you know. So it's mandatory that you quit doing your TV show when that happens, you know. And by the way, he talks about how successful The Apprentice was. And I got news for you. You know, the last season of The Apprentice sat on the shelf for 2 years. They did it, and they said, it doesn't get good ratings, let's not run it. And then when they saw there was a hole in their schedule, they ran it. In fact, the one with Gilbert Gottfried had been done years before, a couple of years before it ever got aired. That was not a successful show at that point. It was a successful show, I think, in the first couple of years that it was on. And then it just started tanking and was used as a filler when they had a vacancy because they canceled some drama show. It was costing them a fortune, and this was a very cheap show to produce. You know, so, yeah. Successful television personality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Con artist.
Oh, well, I mean, he's a con artist. He's also a very dangerous man at this point. You know?
Yes.
He's very dangerous. You know, the decisions he's made in the world and the world's attitude now towards us, which I would hope that if somebody else got elected, Democrat got elected, that then our stock in the world would turn around. But I don't think it's going to be that easy. Yeah. I think America's going to have a bad reputation for years to come. I'll be long gone. And maybe some of you guys will be too before we ever see this country have a turnaround on the international stage. Yes, Tom.
Well, I hope we can at least get a turnaround quickly on this decision to get out of the Paris Climate Accord. And so that's the reason why I'm really, really determined to get him out of office any way I can.
I just never can understand why he wants to get out of the Paris Climate Accord. You know, I mean, what about clean air or ecology does not appeal to him?
Well, it's funny you should bring that up, because it gives me the segue on something I wanted to talk to. The reason I came on.
Yeah.
I just got back from a lecture from one of my favorite climate scientists, Dr. Catherine Hayhoe.
Yeah.
And just got back from a talk from her called "Science in a Fact-Free World." And if you don't know of her stuff, she's got a series on YouTube called Global Weirding. She's got all kinds of good videos. She's really a very entertaining and great lecturer, as well as being a scientist.
Yeah.
But a lot of what she was saying was how we have been polarized on the climate issue, and how we need to start talking about it, and recognizing that a lot of the climate denialism is rooted in nationalism. And this is what Trump is appealing to. He's staked as, the anti-immigration, and that the white supremacy, the nationalism, and the climate denial stuff is coming in with it. It's very fascinating what she had to say. I wish I could. Maybe I'll see if I can get her slideshow and see it again, because she had just a really fantastic slideshow to go with it.
Matt Crash just wrote something here about it, and said that, Alex, it's simple. The reason he wants to get out of the Paris Accord is because Obama did it.
And that's part of it. Yeah.
There seems to be this obsession with Barack Obama, who basically didn't really do anything wrong. He tries to portray him as being doing something illegal or whatever, I mean, this is a crook, calling somebody who was totally honest a crook, and it seems as though, and I think it all goes back, and I've said that if I could do a Back to the Future thing, I would take myself back to the future and go back to the night of the Washington White House Correspondents' Dinner, where Obama joked about Donald Trump. I mean, everybody jokes about everybody at those things, but apparently Donald can't take a joke at his expense. And ever since then, he's been after Trump. That was the night that he decided he was going to run for president, and that he was going to get Trump. He was going to get Obama. And we've been living with that ever since. He's like chasing this ghost of Obama. And if Obama liked the climate accord, God damn it, he was going to be against it. And down the line, he's against everything that what's his name, that Obama was for. It's really pathetic. Okay,
Yeah.
And this is the kind of thing we're living with now. We're living with, I don't think the presidency will ever be the same. Okay? He's taken it down. I don't even care if a wonderful Democrat becomes president. That office will never be the same. Did we just lose somebody?
Yep. Vernon.
We lost Vernon. Oh,
yeah.
Boy.
Maybe.
Yeah, we just lost Vernon. I don't know what happened to him. He was having some problems with his, Hey, is anybody else going to call? Is anybody else going to call? Because this is getting a little frustrating now, What if you held a program and nobody came? Whatever. So I may call this quits in a couple of minutes here. Not because you guys aren't terrific. Don't take that as an insult, but just that, There's just not enough people to do what I call a citizen panel. It's kind of
Yeah.
like
Could use a few more.
a citizen tea here is what we're having, or a few drinks at a bar or something. I don't know, but I just it's just I just this whole thing with the Obama obsession with him, and just everything. I mean, it's going to be years before this country recovers from this. And it was funny because the night that he got elected, girlfriend went, "Oh my God, he got elected. What's going to happen?" And I went, it's a very resilient democracy we have here, and nobody can come in and completely ruin it, especially in 4 years. Well, I was wrong. I was really wrong. This guy has dismantled almost everything, and what he has against clean air is beyond me, I mean, the fact that he's wedded to coal, which is old technology, which has no place in the future, okay, is beyond me. Oh, he wants to keep those coal miners working. What, you want to send them down into those dirty, rotten coal mines so they can get black lung disease? Are you doing them a favor?
Well, he hasn't even been successful. The other coal company went bankrupt this past week.
Yeah. Okay. So so be it. I mean,
so they're losing their jobs anyway.
Huh?
So his promises mean nothing.
Right. Right. So I just I don't understand why he's wedded to coal as an example. I mean, is coal the fuel of the future? I don't think so. And come on, there are only so many dead dinosaurs left. That's going to run out eventually too.
Yeah.
He's an expert at anachronistic approaches.
At anachronistic approaches, exactly.
Everything's wacky.
Well, listen, I'm going to call this an evening because with just two people here, I think this is the least we've ever had at one time.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, and it really is going to have to make me reassess whether I'm going to even continue this, or maybe whether I'm going to do it 4 nights a week, or maybe just do it 1 night a week or something like that, just for kicks. Okay, but I'm very disappointed that some people, normal people that normally call this program, didn't call tonight, and and I don't. Hopefully, I'll be on tomorrow night. If my doctor says terrible things, then I won't be. But I'm sure it probably will be better than that. But what's my encouragement, folks, for coming back here tomorrow night? My encouragement is two great people, 3 great people, 4 great people that we've had on tonight, which is of course Tom Yamaguchi and Jeff Zeller and Jeff Stein, rather. I'm just giving your wife's name. Oh, wait a minute. Here comes Vernon again. Here comes Vernon. Maybe Vernon, are you there? Vernon? Are you there, Vernon? Yeah, there he is. He's coming in. Vernon, you're there again, huh? Gee, I was almost going to call the show. Yeah. Yeah, well, you're up there in the middle of nowhere, for crying out loud. I'm surprised you're getting as good a picture through as you're getting. Mm-hmm. I don't know how Skype does it, but as bad as sometimes the video, the power, the bandwidth is, somehow the picture is always really good these days. You may not, it may be every other frame or every 10th frame or something like that, but it's a good, solid picture. Well, I'll keep going here. What the fuck,
Why not?
But I just, here, now Kevin's calling. Oh, okay, all right. So now we're gonna have a program, huh? Now I can't sign off till 1 o'clock in the morning. Let me
You're
see here.
screwed. You're screwed.
What do you mean I'm screwed?
You ain't going nowhere, Alex.
What? You're not letting me go anywhere? Gee, I was going to get to bed early so that I could.
I was just about to, sit down, and I thought, no, he's whining again. I got to get back on there, and I'll give him a half hour.
Yeah. You'll give me a half hour. Well, you see, I mean, tomorrow I'm going to hear from my doctor about this PSA test, and I'm all bothered by it, which I probably shouldn't be. You just go, well, whatever it's going to be is what's going to be, and they'll take care of it, right?
Okay. Stop that. First of all, stop that right now.
Well, yeah, but I let it terrorize me.
Well, okay, what was your number again? Or do you not want to talk about it?
I had a 6'7".
Oh, Jesus Christ. Is that all?
What?
You want to see mine?
What's yours?
Mine was 8.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and what are they doing about it?
Not a fucking thing. They said go see your urologist in a month.
Oh.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Yes, Jeff.
I had a question for Kevin.
Yeah.
Are you still taking that electronic pain reduction?
Yeah, it's still in me. It's in there for good.
Oh, really? And
Yeah.
how's it working?
It's working okay. I haven't been down to get reprogrammed lately. Since July.
He's picking up HBO for free.
Yeah. No, I'm getting reprogrammed next week. The rep changed. The good rep that I had bailed out on the company, so I went through this transition, and I'm finally finding out who the new rep is. So I got to get them caught up. But yeah, it's it works. I've caught myself a couple of times letting it go dead.
Yeah.
And I realize, after a couple of days, I go, crap, it feels like crap. And then I go check my little gizmo, and it's not registering.
Do you realize what you're saying, though, Kevin? And I imagine Jeff, to a certain extent, can say this as well. When I was a kid, and I knew, and somebody had something like you have inside of you, he'd be considered an android.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the stuff of science fiction.
Yeah.
And now it's, and maybe it's not totally perfected, but long after you're gone, 100 years from now, imagine the kind of things they're going to be able to do.
Yeah.
A heart? You don't need a heart.
Look at the stuff. What is it? Not the Mayo Clinic, but what's that place up by you, Jeff? It's the Polytech, I think it is. They're actually making people walk with prosthesis through their brains.
Yes,
they can think,
I've heard that.
Yeah, they can think that they want to move their legs, and their legs are moving.
Ooh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's
automation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this.
Yeah, and it only costs $500,000.
I've got a pacemaker right here.
Yeah.
And that's really keeping my heart to work at the right time.
Yeah. If you didn't have a pacemaker in you right now, would you be dead?
Probably.
Really?
Either that or loaded up with some drugs, right?
I don't know if that would necessarily work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it all depends on what you got.
I've had pacemakers for a long, long time, so.
Yeah, and they've gone from this big down to this big down to this big.
It's just like your cell phone. You got to have a battery, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you don't have a phone.
Well, how do they recharge your battery?
Oh, after a number of years, they'll take it out and put a new one in.
Oh, really? Is that an operation, or is it very simple?
It's a simple surgery.
Yeah.
Because the wires are there.
Because
right.
I was led to believe that some pacemakers are charged by just induction.
No.
No?
Yeah, mine is, but I still have to have the battery replaced about every 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I got a little, pad, like a wireless iPad charger, or a wireless
I mean, there are people
iPhone charger.
Yeah.
Same thing. He tells me not to charge my phone on it.
It's like I have
it
this.
blow
I
it
have
up.
this for my watch. Okay.
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing, and I got to sit on it every couple days.
It's an. Why is it in your ass?
No, it's in my bag.
Can you charge your car too with that?
What's that?
You know, if you run out of gas, could you recharge your car?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. They told me not to put my phone on it because it'd blow up the phone. But so I don't know what kind of amperage it puts out.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But gee, when I think about all the different little problems each of us have here, Tom is the only healthy one in the batch. Am I right, Tom?
Yeah, I don't really have anything really bad going wrong with me right now.
Really? Son of a bitch. Well, then I'm going to have to say goodnight to you because you can't be on this program.
I'm fairly healthy.
Let's see. I've got neuropathy and I've got possible prostate cancer. Jeff has a phony heart. Vernon went through prostate cancer. You don't have any current problems, do you, Vernon? No. And
Not at all.
and Kevin's
I don't
got
even
this.
take any statins.
Huh? What?
I don't even take statins.
Really? That's amazing. That's amazing. And Kevin is,
I'll be 71 in January.
Kevin's a medley of problems.
I'm just a wreck.
Yeah. But a heck of a nice guy, and I think that says something, for it.
Hit by a freight train.
Yeah. Well, how old are you, Kevin? I've asked you this before, but I, of course, at my
62.
age, is 62. So
Going on 80.
Well, you've got a lot of problems for 62.
Yeah, and they only really started coming on the last 8 or 10 years. Best about 10 years, 12 years.
Was
when the legs started acting up? That's when everything started going haywire.
Yeah. What was the leg thing, basically?
Well, that was when it got infected in 2008.
Oh, right.
During that surgery thing.
Wow. So, and we got, and Jeff, it's funny. You talk about surgery causing your problem. Jeff, in his case, was taking what drug? Coumadin?
Coumadin.
Yeah. And that's what gave him the stroke.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean,
I was taking that too.
I'm wondering what this Lyrica is going to do for me now, this pregabalin. It's like...
that Lyrica stuff was bad on me.
Really? What did it do?
It made me really loopy.
Well, it makes me nice and high.
Yeah.
It puts me to
I had it
sleep.
when it first came out, and I couldn't take it I took it for about 3 weeks, and I said, get this stuff away from me. And then they gave me Cymbalta, and it did the same crap. It made me even weirder.
They all do that, but from what I've been told, I read about it. Eventually, I'm going to not get loopy on this. After about 4 weeks or 5 weeks, you suddenly don't get loopy on it. But it puts me to sleep very nicely. Puts me out. But the thing I've noticed, and this is something that's worrying me, because I love to worry. Okay. I've always been a hypochondriac, so why not continue even at this age? In fact, now I have every reason to be, okay? Now all my imaginary ailments are real ones. But anyway, what was I going to say? I went into a riff and then I completely riffed. Huh? What?
Lyrica, about your Lyrica.
Yeah. It puts me to sleep, okay? Every night, just go right out. But, the thing that worries me about it is, I suddenly thought about the other night, I haven't been dreaming. I can't remember the last time I had a dream.
Must be really deep sleeping.
Is deep sleep when you don't dream?
I don't know, maybe. Or it's putting you so far under you can't remember them.
Yeah. I think you're dreaming, but you're not remembering your dreams.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I think, the dreams you remember are the ones that you have just before you wake up, right?
I don't know when that happens, to be honest with you. It appears that it's like when just before you wake up, but it may not be because you don't know when in your sleep. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it always appeared that way, and in fact, sometimes you would wake up from a dream. It would just,
Yeah.
Um,
I've gone through periods where, I say, well, I can't remember the last time I remembered a dream.
by the way, we've lost Vernon again.
Burning again. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't worry too much about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, I just wonder why. I'm thinking maybe it's these pills. But I'll tell you what it has been doing tonight. I started the show and I fucked up like crazy, getting it on. People won't notice it if they're watching the replay because I started the recording right, so I got a good clean beginning. But I had all kinds of things go wrong, and it's because for some reason this pregabalin is like muddling me a little bit, so that I have to do this and I have to do that and I have to go push this button and that button, and it's not as easy. It's kind of like, and but I got the show on finally, and eventually when the live feed will be edited so that it looks fine. But I just, I those are things I never used to screw up on, and now I'm screwing up on them like crazy. And also I find with the pregabalin, I bump into things.
They mess with your neurology, I think.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, my neuropathy feels a lot better. I mean, my feet are still numb, but my toes aren't hurting and so on. So, and I only take like one a day on the weekdays because I don't want to do one like at 1 o'clock in the afternoon because I'll come on here and just be completely loopy.
Yeah.
I have to say that it is helping. It is making me more comfortable. So, what can I say?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever works, I guess.
Yes, whatever works.
Whatever you can tolerate, that's the thing. Some of that stuff I just couldn't tolerate.
Yeah. Don't leak your battery internally, Kevin, it says. Okay.
Yeah, well, I won't be able to tell.
Use your cell phone to defibrillate. Clear.
Yeah, maybe there is a little app for that.
You know what I was wondering? I don't know. Any of you have the? I have to say it quietly. The Echo. Any of you have the Echo?
No.
Okay, because
There's one in my house, but I don't use it.
I'll tell you, I use it for everything. Like, Echo, turn off the studio. Well, let me try that again. There we go.
Yeah.
There it goes.
Okay.
Took her a second.
Echo, turn on the studio. Yeah. Anyway, I use it. I use it for that. I've got the lights in the cup pantry, and I tell it to turn on the lights in the pantry or the lights in the other room. And I don't have enough because of the nature of this apartment. I don't have that many things that I can do like that. But I went out and I bought light bulbs that have Wi-Fi in them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so some of my lights that I have in the house, but not enough. There's not enough of it that I can do that in the apartment. But I've got about 5 different things hooked up to where I can ask them to turn it on and off. But I was wondering because these Echoes, or let's say the Alexas, I'll call them that because it doesn't respond to that name. The Alexas all have, most of them now, have cameras in them. And I'm wondering why you can't just call into that camera and see what's going on in your house when you're away from it. They haven't even done that yet. And I'm sure they can, because if I can do Skype on here. And so I can have a two-way with somebody over the internet. So why shouldn't I be able to say, okay, I want to see this particular room's camera or whatever, Here comes Vernon again. Vernon be having some problems tonight, right, Vernon?
They all have
I'm
cameras
sure
in them?
what's going on.
Most of them have cameras in them. The old ones, the old original Alexa Tube doesn't,
Yeah.
and the Dot doesn't. But the one I have here does, and the one I have in my bedroom does, and the one I have in the kitchen does. It has a camera. So shouldn't it seem logical that the people at Amazon could create an app that would allow you to go into your camera
Yeah, I
and
would
see your
I
house?
don't think that's what they were for.
No, what they're for is that I have a
I want
camera.
to spy on you in your bedroom.
Well, no, but you can call me. I have a private Skype account, and it's hooked up to this. And if you called me on that private Skype account, I could talk to you on my I'm saying Alexa. It's really Echo,
Yeah.
you know. But I don't know why it doesn't allow me to do that. And I think it's only a matter of time when they will allow you, but I think they don't want to allow you to do that because they're afraid you will then be paranoid that people can then look at what's happening in your apartment. And if people want to watch me naked, I don't give a shit. It's their problem. It's their lunch they're going to have to throw up, not mine.
Exactly.
Yes, Jeff.
Where I live, it's all 55 plus.
Uh-huh.
And also there's the golf course,
Yeah.
which are totally different people. And there's a lot of there's a lot of phone. There's a lot of people around there who have films on every day at night.
You mean they have cameras?
There's cameras. There's video cameras on all over the place. And there's some of them that people are aware of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I know there's a whole bunch of them that nobody knows that they're really there.
Yeah.
And I guess it's somewhat of a safety issue. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, somehow I think the reason they aren't doing this with the Alexas or with the Amazon devices, I'll use that term, is because they're probably afraid the public will be paranoid by that. Because if you can do it, then somebody else can do it. Somebody can hack it and then see inside to your apartment. But I think it would be important because some people want to, be able to see around their house while they're on vacation, and that would be a perfect way to be able to do it.
It's no different than a Nest or anything else. I mean, you can connect your Nest or whatever up to that Alexa as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what the hell's the difference than just going directly from the device itself?
Right. Well, I mean, it has a camera, and I don't even use the camera that often. So let's find.
You don't have one of those vacuum machines, do you?
What do you mean vacuum machines?
The iRobots.
A robot.
Oh, you mean the
vacuum
you mean the Roomba?
Roombas.
Is that what,
Yeah, it's called Roomba. No, I don't. No.
no, I don't either.
No. I would if I had cats because I'd want something to terrify them.
I keep trying to get my wife to let me get one.
Yeah.
Oh, when I go to the supermarket, they have one there.
They have in the supermarket. They have a Roomba.
Yeah, it's a commercial size, but yeah.
Really? And you're just walking down the aisles and it's following you? What's with that?
It's cleaning the floor.
Really?
Yeah, my friend had one. They called it Rosie, and it ran around and just go clean up after the dogs. Dog hairs. I said, "Oh, there goes Rosie."
Oh my! Oh my! Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy.
And when it got full, it just go park itself and empty itself out.
Yeah. But now my wife is giving me a bad time, okay? And the bad time she's giving me is I went out, I'm at Costco, and I look, and it says, hey, these are bulbs that you can use, and they have Wi-Fi in them, and then you can hook them up to your Amazon device, and you can have it turn your lights on. And so I bought $22 for 2 bulbs, and the bulbs are LEDs, so they're going to last probably longer than me, okay? So, okay, but that's not bad for the price, right? So I get them, and I like them, and I decide, well, maybe I want to put some lights in the ones in the bathroom. And she's saying to me, don't waste all that money. We need it for our old age. And I'm saying, wait a minute. $22. If the difference between us and starving is $22, we better stop eating now. You know, I mean, I said, no, you know, I get a little thrill of this, and I got these little what do you call it, receptacles that you put in, and then you plug something into them, like the light, and that's another company. And so now I'm slowly getting the house wired so that I can. And she goes, I hate this, but then she loves the fact that in the bedroom she can turn off the light without having to get up to turn it off. So she even uses it and likes it, you know. And
Hey, if you guys are waiting for old age, you're already there.
yeah.
I'm there.
And then she says something to me. You know, this is the part that kind of gets to me. She says to me, I tell her, you know, I've got some savings. I've got some of my Vanguard account. I've got my pension from the union, and I've got some stock from Sirius XM that every year I have to keep selling off, and I sell it off, and it's kind of like sourdough yeast in California. It keeps replenishing itself, you know. And so I said, I got some money there. And she says, well, don't use it, because I may need it once you're gone. I went, oh, so now we figure I'm going first. You know, and it's like they're the two people in this household looking at each other saying, well, who's going first? You know, after you, you know. And I go, I thought you said, she said she was going to go before me, you know. And I, you know, I mean, if we had a suicide pact, I'd say, well, you jump first, you know. And then I'd make my decision whether I wanted to or not. You know, that's just me. But we would be lousy in a suicide pact, you know. Just kidding. I just put the gun in my mouth, but I'm not pulling the trigger yet. Go ahead, pull yours first. You know.
I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
Yeah, I'm wondering at what point, you know, like I have this great fear of death. That at what point I would probably suicide would seem like a good idea. You know. I mean, you know, I mean, I don't even think with a really terminal disease I would be up for that. Although my ex-wife says if it gets bad enough, she's going to do it, because in Oregon they have the death with dignity thing.
We have in California too.
Oh, you have it now in California?
Yeah. We
Did
have
they
it in California.
did they pass that?
Yeah. Yes.
When was that?
Last year.
Was it?
Yeah.
I didn't know they did that.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe they have. Yeah.
So does that mean that you stop taking medications and all that
No, you
stuff?
actually get a series of pills, and you got to apply for psychological testing and go through a bunch of stuff, and then you just have this pill sitting around, and when you decide, you
It
go.
isn't one pill though. I heard it was something like 50 pills.
I think it's different. I don't know. My friend was going through that process, but he passed away before he got to that point.
Before I could take the last pill. I mean, if it's
before he
50
even
pills,
got,
yeah.
he had gone through the psychological part, and he was getting ready to get the pills, and then he passed away from the ALS.
Yeah. In that case, you'd really want it, you know. Yes, Tom.
Well, actually, I had a friend also had ALS, and at one point, he had made the decision that he was going to just disconnect his respirator, and that would have done it right there. But he changed his mind, and which was nice, because there's a whole bunch of he lived up in Lake County, up at Lakeport, and so there was a whole bunch of us that were able to go up and see him before he died. But he did, die, but he didn't actually disconnect his respirator. But yeah.
Well, I keep the great worry I have is I have a great fear of death, as you know, as I've explained before, and so that bothers me. But I'll tell you what bothers me more is I saw my mother get old, get dementia, wind up in the old people's home. I don't know if I want that to happen either. I don't know if I want that vitality to go away, for me to lose my vitality enough where I've got to be put in an old people's home,
Right.
and that I don't know the world around me and I'm just an existing organism,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, one of the things that, I think that I feel really fortunate is both my parents died without them actually being put away in a home, that they died in their own home.
Right.
Well, my father actually died in a hospital, but
Yeah.
but they weren't under any long-term, decline like other people.
Yeah. Well, they have Marjorie has been paying for long-term insurance, which
Well,
is the worst thing you could possibly get. Because you don't, let's say she gets run over by a truck tomorrow. Well, there's the money down the drain, and she can't stop tomorrow because then she doesn't get any of it back.
Right.
It's a sucker's bet, that stuff. Hey, listen, there's the theme, and we made it through the whole show, and it's been, you guys have been terrific, And Kevin, thanks for coming in and forcing me to go another half hour. I appreciate that.
You'll be back.
Vernon, always a pleasure to have you around. You are a balm for the soul. Tom, of course, a good friend from years and 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 a few years after that. And of course, Jeff, my best to your wife, and always good to see you around here. I think it would be nice if all of you just gave a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye to you as well, okay? There they go, ladies and gentlemen. That's our citizen panel for tonight. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. We'll be back here again tomorrow night, I think. If I get bad news from my doctor and I'm too depressed to do a show, I won't do it. But chances are I'll be here, as usual. I'll be here after Damian Chaplin does the exchange at 9:30 Eastern Time. I'll be back here again at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. Same time. Same station in life. And in the meantime, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody.